After I made the imprint and cleaned it up a little bit, I took a skateboard wheel bearing, placed it in the centre, and filled the mould up with liquid gallium. Once it's cooled down and solidified again, I was able to just lift it out of the mould, and we've got this really cool homemade metal fidget spinner. Check that out. And as a final touch, I removed the caps from my plastic fidget spinner and used them on this one. And what is really nice is you can get creative and make all sorts of designs. With this one, I rolled out some plasticine and made a spiral around the bearing. Just make sure I don't broke it. If you broke it, I have no idea. It looks great. And after it had turned solid, I removed the plasticine mould, then fitted the bearing caps, and check that out. Obviously this one is weighted badly, it's completely out of balance, but it is really cool and it was great fun to make. I made one of my other favourite ones like this. I used a plastic container like a stamp to make an imprint, then a pen top to make a series of spikes all the way around. I had to re-stamp the middle, then added the bearing, and filled it with the gallium to make this really cool kind of spiky fidget spinner. And with yellow bearing caps, it looks a bit like a sunshine spinner. Although gallium is non-toxic and safe to handle, it can leave a grey discolouring on your hand, which isn't particularly pleasant, but it does wash off easily with some warm water and soap. Now, if you'd like to see this really cool stretchy banana fidget toy, you can check out this video here, where I check out 9 different gadgets. Have fun, stay safe, and as always, thanks for watching.
That's a good clip. I must say, I've enjoyed it. Huh?
I ordered some crazy looking science toys. Let's try them out. And
what's in the box?
Which is your favourite?
I really want to know what's in the box when I was gone, eh?
It's polystyrene, and inside is this curious glass object. There's this bulb at the bottom, which houses some blue liquid, and a tube which rises up from here around a couple of U-bends and forms another glass bulb at the top. Now watch what happens if I sit it on the palm of my hand. After just a few seconds, the fluid starts to rise up the tube out of the bottom bulb, work its way around the U-bends, and fills up the top bulb. But not only that, then it appears to start bubbling and boiling. This footage has been speeded up slightly, but the whole process took about half a minute. And if you wrap your hands around the bottom bulb, the process happens even faster, because you're conducting heat. To reverse the cycle, let go of the bottom bulb and hold the top one, and the fluid transfers back down to the bottom. So how does it work? So the fluid inside is actually a volatile mixture of methylene chloride, and it has a boiling point of just above room temperature. When we sit the glass on our hands, or we can even just warm it up with our fingers, heat is transferred from your body, which causes the liquid to boil. The gas which is produced from the liquid evaporating builds up pressure in this bottom glass bowl, and this pressure increase results in the liquid being pushed up the tube. I love the little U-bend it goes round. As the pressure pushes the last bit up, the vapour produced from the residual bit of fluid left behind rises up, forming bubbles in this evaporation-condensation cycle. We can just watch as it boils. When we release our hand, the gas condenses back into a liquid again, and it flows back into the lower bulb. Now check this out, water droplets flowing upwards. This isn't really a science toy, it's more of a gadget. It's an anti-gravity water humidifier. I ordered it online, and it cost me £34. There's a link in the description. It says it produces a fine spray, it's counter-gravity, contracted design, and time to show. So some interesting translations. Let's open it up. It comes together with some instructions and a power lead, and this is the unit. There's some rubber feet underneath to help it grip. There's this kind of hole here, which I suppose the water kind of rises up from, and this hole at the top here, and I think there's another hole here from the top, where the vapour comes out from, and a touch sensor on and off button here, and it's powered by this USB-C port.
I can have.
So to use it, you just unscrew the piece like this, and you can see here there's some wires and a pipe, and I think this is a water pump. So the instructions say to fill up the sump with some warm water at about 40 degrees C, then refit the top part and plug it into the USB port. Then it's ready to use. There's even a little clock in the top which you can set with these touch-sensitive buttons, and just touch the power button to switch it on. Straight away it starts humming, and water vapour starts coming out of the top. And if we look at it from the side, you can see these water droplets magically rising up from the base. They kind of get sucked in at the top. It really looks incredible. I'm putting it against this dark background to make it stand stand out even more. It's such an intriguing device. The sort of thing you could watch for ages. It produces a large cloud of water vapour, which apparently can help things like dry sinuses, nasal congestion,
It could be
breaking of
steam
mucus,
train.
and cracked lips. But how does it seem to completely defy gravity? There's no suction going on here, and actually, even though it doesn't appear so, the water is running downwards, from the top to the bottom. The clever part are these LED lights. They illuminate the falling water drops at a very specific frequency, and so to our eye and to the camera, the drops appear to be slowly rising out from the bottom instead of falling from the top. That really is pretty clever. I can even touch them with my finger, and you can see the water actually running off my finger and flowing down to the base. It all goes back down into the sump, and that little pump that we saw inside lifts it back to the top. But now watch what happens if I take a drinking glass and place it underneath. Of course the glass starts filling up, but the water appears to be continuing to rise up out of the glass as it's filling up. That's crazy.
What the hell?
Now, if we take a bright flashlight, we can actually overpower the LEDs and break the illusion. Now we can see the water stream as it's running down from the top to the bottom, and we can even just press the power button again, which turns off the lights, so we can just see the water stream. What a cool device. Have you tried using a humidifier? Let me know in the comments. Next we're going to take a look at this ferrofluid bottle. It comes in this nice little box, and as you'd expect, it's well packaged. Here's the bottle, and it comes with a couple of magnets. The bottle is filled with a clear suspension liquid and a small amount of this black ferrofluid. Now look what happens when we introduce a magnet. It starts to spring into life and form these magnificent shapes. We can move it around and we get these distinctive black spikes. If we vary the proximity of the magnet, we alter the size of the spikes and the quantity. And we can even use two magnets and watch as it dances between them. Ferrofluid is a liquid that contains nanometer-sized particles of a magnetite, usually iron filings. So it's basically a magnetic fluid. It was invented by a NASA engineer in 1963. I also found if you keep agitating it really quickly with a magnet, you can break it all up into loads of tiny little bits. Check that out, it's almost like a snow globe. Then, of